Hello everyone, I'm gonna show you today the difference between the servo motor and the step motor. So I will explain briefly one of them, each of these motors, and after that I will say you the basic difference. Actually, everyone's skipping this aspect for these motors. Actually, I think it's the most important thing for these motors. What's the fundamental, the basic one, the basic difference. Someone is saying the power, someone is saying the torque or something like that, but I guess the basic difference between them will be explained in this video. So yeah, first of all, first first motor is the stepper motor, and the stepper motor has I don't know, but 50 or 100 or many poles, maybe 200 poles. Yeah, actually, the main problem is that this stepper motor is controlled by discrete drive. So actually, it means that, for example, its pulse is around 360, and it means that 360 degrees divided by 360. So it means that you can just adjust this motor per 1 degree, right? So you cannot yeah, of course, there are so many micro-stepping algorithms or to control mechanisms, but in the basic, you cannot use for example, 1.5 or 1.3, 1.3.5, 1.35, something like that. You cannot reach these kind of angles because your step actually, it's come from its name. The step is just 1 degree. So the main difference is that the discrete drive, you cannot use mm, the analog signals, the analog positions for this motor, this type of motor. So you can see the general view of that kind of a motor, and you can see the inside of this motor there are poles, and inside this arrow you can create many poles inside, and you have four electromagnets, outer outer surrounding of this motor. And after that, I mean, with doing a discrete drive, you cannot actually, maybe you may not get a feedback signal from its shaft, something. So you don't have to merge some feedback instrumentation tools, something like maybe the encoders, or maybe the resolvers, or maybe, I don't know, the magnetic encoders or something like that. But you don't have to do this with this stepper motor, but your drive is gonna be discrete. You cannot reach any floating point or something, the half of the angle or half of the step actually. The second type of these motors is servo motor. Servo motor has include um, actually 4 to 12 poles inside, and actually mm, this kind of motors, you can see the pictures of it. Yeah, here is the feedback. Actually, feedback tool is something like, as I mentioned before, it's kind of, encoder resolver or something, the incremental encoder or something like that. So but you have to add some instrumentation tool, some position sensing tool inside, but uh, that's the actually negative things. But the positive thing is that you can reach any degrees of it, any degrees, 1.687 for example. Yeah, you can reach this angle, this kind of angle precisely. Actually it depends on your sensor, it depends on your quality of your feedback tool. But if we can assume that you're using the best quality of sensor, you can reach any any point, any angle for this sensor, for this motor actually. Yeah, and the main difference was that, so the one of them, the stepper motor, has a discrete control. You cannot use 1.678 something like angles, but you don't have to add some feedback mechanisms inside. But otherwise, the servo motor has a analog drive, you can use some floating angles. You can reach them, but the problem is that you have to make a feedback algorithm, or you have to add some sensors to sense the position, yeah, for this. So actually, because of all of these, you have to pay much more for the servo motors. Yeah, yeah. So the stepper motor, actually this situation makes a stepper motor very cheap, but as I mentioned before, you cannot reach any angles. You cannot reach all the angles actually.